my name is Zoe, and this is a video about natural dyeing, which you saw in the title. I don't really explain what I'm about to do. I'm actually filming this like months after the first clip you're about to see, but essentially I'm trying to get green on this yarn that I thrifted. You can go about this in a lot of ways. I'm not an expert by any means. A lot of people will normally overdye to get green. That's not what I attempt at first, you'll see. All the recipes I use for mordanting and scouring are from Maiwa. I'll link them down below, but really great resource if you're trying to get into natural dyeing. If anyone is interested, I can also put together some sort of playlist. I've watched a lot of content about it. But anyways, hope you enjoy. I got really lucky at the thrift store last night? 2 nights ago? 2 nights ago because it's been in the freezer. I got a bunch of wool yarn for pretty cheap. I think it was in a bag that was $2.99 or $3.99, so it's not too bad. And there was other stuff, but it's 100% wool, and I'm gonna dye it, naturally dye it, with marigold that my mom's friend gave me, which I'm really excited about. But first, I have to skein it up, and I kind of started, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should film a video. So that's where we are now. So I'm gonna do that, make them into skeins. It's gonna take me ages. Oh, and this one I also found in another bag. This is like Icelandic wool, but this skein is a little dirty. I don't know how evident that is, but she's not in the best condition. But I'm gonna wash her and I think it'll be fine, so I'll take you along. But I finished the first skein. I'm just gonna do some ties, and then I have 2 more left. Did I start with the smallest ones? Yes. Why, yes I did. So this is not gonna go quite as quickly. First one done. Also, these stink. Like, they smell old and yucky, so they really need a wash. And off to the second one. Welcome back. New location, my kitchen. Please note that I did not want my head to get off in the last couple clips. I did want you to be able to see my beautiful face. I just didn't realize that it was not filming my face. All that to say, I'm prepping the yarn. This yarn to be naturally dyed, this yarn because it just has stains on it and I'm hoping to get it out. The process that I'm gonna do to clean this, to clean both these yarns, is called scouring. I'm gonna use, you're probably gonna hear the crinkle, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna use synthrapol. I bought mine from Dharma Trading Company. If you know it, I will link it down below. I've gotten a decent amount of natural dye supplies from there for like mordanting and for mordanting, scouring, for both cellulose and animal fibers. I'm gonna do these in 2 different pots just because I am not too sure about the dye of this. I don't want it to get anywhere. So this is gonna be in my tiny pot right here. My tiny pot, it's not that small. And then this is all gonna go in the big pot. Really important for dyeing or any sort of like process with fibers, do not use the same pots you use for cooking. Not a good idea. I'm gonna start by just weighing everything. Is this super necessary for scouring? Unless you're doing enormous quantities, I don't think so, but it's honestly for later on. So about 230, it's not an exact science. I'm gonna write it down though. For now, at the sink, I'm going to pre-soak. I think this is one of the most important steps in natural dyeing. Before every process I do, I pre-soak my fibers. And yeah. I think it's like an unavoidable. Every time something has not looked great, a lot of times it can be attributed to not pre-soaking. So necessary step. Okay, and then this is just kind of warm water, and you never want to run water directly onto your fibers. So I'm just gonna add them in, put it in there. We also have a little visitor. I don't know if you want to, I just don't think you should sniff this. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave this probably for like 10-ish minutes or until it feels like it's like fully soaked. So how long it kind of takes. I'm gonna fill this bit for the other skein. And so here we have this one. I'll show you the stains. I don't know how obvious it is. Oh my god, my cats are going crazy. But yeah, here are kind of some of the stains. I don't know how obvious they are. Nothing super bad. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. Hopefully it will come out. And for scouring, scouring basically just means cleaning your wool or cleaning your fibers. I said, yeah, I use synthrapol. Less is more with this. You honestly need like basically nothing. I think the recipe I follow, and I say follow in quotations because I don't super follow it. I just kind of guesstimate for this portion. I think this is the one part you can get away with guesstimation, at least for animal fibers, is it's 5 milliliters per 450 grams of fibers, which is like basically nothing. Again, I don't even have 450 grams of fiber, so I'm basically going to add a drop, and a drop goes a long way, a very long way. So you can see a lot of soap in there, and it soaks up quite a bit, but as it's gonna boil, it'll be better. So
got the kick.
but the water is actually quite dirty. This one it's a little pink, I think, so you can see kind of the reason why I separated them. But the water is already dirty in this one, so I anticipate that there's gonna be a lot of dirt coming off. And so we're all ready to go. I'm gonna put the lids, oh, I forgot what that one is, on. I put it on a low setting, and once it reaches about 60 degrees, that's when I'll turn it off. So I check about every 15 minutes and just take the temperature. We're on to mordanting. I mordant only the undyed wool. I mordant with alum. I bought this, honestly, I think off Amazon. Probably not great. Actually, no, that's not true. Originally I bought off Amazon, but then when I ordered off of Dharma Trading Co., I also got some and then just chucked it in the bottle again. All that to say, the recipe I follow is 15% weight of fiber, which is why I weighed all the wool before, so I have 230 grams, which means I need to do about 34.5 grams of alum. I really recommend using a recipe. I've seen videos where people don't, and I was kind of following that when I first started, and I just think that you'll always either underestimate, which is what I was doing, or overestimate, and so to have like the exact amount is really great, and it just means that you're being more accurate. From what I've been told and what I've heard is that like when you use 15%, the wool soaks all of it up, and so there's none left in your water, which is what you want because you don't want to be putting that down the drain. Okay, so I have 35 grams in here. I'm gonna add water to my pot. room temperature. And then as the water is coming up, I'm gonna slowly start adding the alum. Especially this one is really coarse, so I have to kind of stir it in quite a bit, so I'm gonna keep kind of adding and pouring the water at the same time. Yeah, so there's still a little bit. So once it's pretty much all dissolved, I chuck the yarn back in. And I don't need to, this is like the one time I won't pre-soak it. And that's just because it's still wet from the scouring. So I find it's not the end of the world. And then same story, I'm gonna put it on the stove until it hits 60 degrees and then just let it cool down, probably like overnight. Okay, we're finally getting to the fun part. I picked these flowers about a week ago. They were my neighbors. You'll get a better view of them, but they're marigolds. They were very kindly gifted to me. They're lovely. They give a sort of green. I've done some of them. I've used some of them. Oh my god. Okay, what do you want? But yes, the marigolds give orange. Not orange. That's not true. They give green. And so basically what I'm gonna do is put them in a hot bath, making sure they don't go above 60. And yeah, and then I'm gonna leave them overnight to kind of make sure we get the most out of their dye before I'll remove them, and then we'll put the yarn in, which is the exciting part. Oh my god, I swear if you jump on me right now, I'm not gonna be happy. Okay, I pick you up. Oh my goodness. We're gonna put it on low heat for a bit. Oh. No! 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 This is instantly more attractive. My god, okay.
Got the kick.
Here in my kitchen, once again. Yarn is pre-soaking because we're finally actually doing the dyeing. I'll show you really quick the dye pot, and I'm gonna take all the flowers out after, yeah, it's been a couple days now, but honestly the bath looks interesting. We'll see how this comes out. And yes, I'm gonna use my hands. I think it's just really is the easiest way. Change of plans. I'm not gonna put these in the compost. I'm actually gonna pre-soak this yarn, and I'm gonna try solar dyeing again. Solar dyeing? Like on the floor here. I'm gonna put all the flowers in here. I'm also gonna put a little bit of vinegar, just because I think apparently wool loves acidity, but also last time I did this with marigolds, it did go a little moldy. I'm not gonna lie. You can see the TikTok that I made where I open it up. I'll put it somewhere. But yeah, no, not ideal. So I will attempt again. You can kind of see the green starting here. I don't know if that's how obvious that is. I feel like it just kind of looks murky right now. Once you put the yarn in, despite the fact that it looks quite yellow and murky, the yarn does go green. So it is effective. It's a little bit of a weirder one though, because normally baths are like the colors that the dye will give you. Not for this one. I'm not even have space for the yarn. This is my Dollarama store vinegar. She's great. I'm gonna like ballpark add probably about a tablespoon. I'm not gonna be super specific with this. Definitely an interesting scent. I'm gonna add the yarn now. You can definitely see not much color change on the first little bit. Crossing my fingers that's gonna change. It did last time, I swear. So I will give some updates as we go along in our dyeing process. But yeah, so again, and I'm just gonna put it low heat and kind of constantly check the temperature. Here's our little concoction. I'm gonna add this skein of yarn, even though it's probably not fully pre-soaked. Ugh, I don't really care. It's fine. It's gonna be sitting in water for probably about a week. So I feel like it'll be okay. Truth be told, I can't remember if this is wool or not. I feel like it was like a wool alpaca blend. But don't quote me on that. Okay. Here she is. We're gonna add some more water. I'll let it kind of bubble out. Normally you can do this in like mason jars. I don't think you put so much veggie matter, and you probably do like mini skeins. Yeah, just because this is definitely an interesting one. So I'm gonna put it on the window seal right here. It's a south facing window, so it does get a lot of sun. And I'll give little updates as we go along. Hopefully it actually changes color. That would be bad if it didn't. So is yellow. So it's been a couple weeks. As we saw, the yarn went very yellow, which is not what I wanted. I was looking more for green toned yellow. This is like fluoro. Fluoro? Did you guys? Fluorescent? Like, it's bright yellow. It's a clear yellow, but it's yellow nonetheless. All that to say, I won't knit with yellow, so I need to do something about that. I took a couple weeks to think about it, and my sort of plan is I'm going to try overdying it. I've kind of done this before. It doesn't always work out though. So we're going to attempt. I have had these riverbank grapes. They're like wild grapes. I'll put maybe like a cool screenshot here of what they are. But I foraged these riverbank grapes about a year ago, even more, and they've been in my freezer ever since. So there's not a lot. I don't know if this is gonna be enough, but that might also play into my hand, so it won't overdo it, like it won't go almost brown. I don't know. This is gonna be an experiment. I'm also going to try this only with the like mini skein that I have. And then also, this is the solar dyeing update. I'm not gonna open this right now because it will explode everywhere because I've not been like opening it regularly. So we'll do this tomorrow when I actually do the 2 like testers. So all that to say, I'm going to, since this is the night before, I'm going to just make like a dye pot, essentially, which is I'm going to add riverbank grapes into here, some water, put it on the stove for like until it reaches 60 degrees, and let it steep overnight. Stinks. Okay, fine. Ready to go, finally. I took the solar dyeing out, it exploded everywhere. It also stinks. Like, it stinks so bad. But it gave kind of this very tie-dye looking effect. I'm not mad at it. I kind of think it's fun. So we're just gonna dip it in there. I don't know what this is gonna do. I also remember when I was like, oh, don't bring it to a boil, the berries. It was at a boil. I always forget that it's on the stove, which is so terrible. So again, I don't know what this is gonna get. And here's our other little sample that I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna leave it overnight, which is what I did earlier. I think I'm gonna do like a quick dip, so I'll probably bring it to about 60 degrees actually this time, and then take it out, rinse it, dry it, and see how I feel. I'm gonna treat it more like an indigo vat, kind of, not really. But anyways, that's where we're at. C'est un petit peu vert.
Ah oui, quand même.
Ouais, c'est pas pire. C'est quand je rince. Here's the yarn. It's a different season. It's also been 2 months. I don't know if you can see, there's a bunch of snow in the background. When I first started filming this, it was October. It's now mid-January. So it's been a minute. I'll show you obviously better pictures of this yarn, but when it first came out, it was super purple. Obviously, once I rinsed it, it went kind of green. I still wasn't super pleased with the result. This one isn't too bad. Like, it's definitely green. I don't think there's another name that I would call it, but it wasn't what I wanted. And I didn't really want a sweater quantities worth of yarn in this color. So I was kind of at an impasse. And instead of choosing either, I just kind of sat down and let the project rest. And now I'm back. I started editing the video last night, and it's actually really funny to watch because the original clips I filmed, I think were before I even had put out a YouTube video yet. Like, I was still in the process of editing my first video, so it's quite, I don't know, it's really funny. I also had bangs, and I don't have bangs at the moment, and I really need to cut them again because I think it suited me quite well. I digress. All that to say, I needed to come up with some sort of solution. Or I was actually gonna just ditch the video. I was like, well, listen, this one's not meant to be. So I have this and 2 more skeins of yellow, and I will not knit with all of this yarn, unfortunately, because it's just not a color that I would choose for myself. So I needed to come up with a solution, and there was a solution. I just wasn't ready to accept that solution yet, and that solution is buckthorn berries. If you don't know what they are, they're like an invasive species. They're an invasive tree that grows kind of all over the place. You probably have some in your area if you live in North America. But anyways, the berries give a really nice green. The one problem with them is that the color changes with acidity. Kind of. I don't know if it's that, but I know that you can really see your sweat marks with that yarn. Shifting my original plans, I'm going to over dye this yellow with buckthorn berries. You're thinking, well, where are you gonna get these berries since it's literally winter? I have a stash in my freezer from over a year ago that really needs to get used, so this is actually probably pretty convenient. So that's what I'm gonna do. And hopefully it is the last dye bath I make for this yarn. I'm not going to show you the whole process again. I'll just dunk the yarn in when it's ready. But yeah, you've seen me do it 100 times. Not 100 times, but you've seen me do it quite a few times in this video already. I put the berries in, I leave it overnight, I heat it to 60 degrees, then I strain the berries out, then I put the yarn in, heat it till 60 degrees, take the yarn out, and there you go. I'll be back with the results. Thank you very much. One last time. Put this in yesterday morning. It is now the next day, and we're finally ready. I've literally worn my green sweater in the hopes that it's somehow gonna change the contents of this pot. I have been sneaking little looks, I'm not gonna lie. I honestly think that I'll get a better idea of what it's gonna look like when I take it out, because right now it's very confusing. I do want to show you this just to prove that I'm right, that it is green in fact. Here, this is like the paper towel I was using to put this down. So I would stir the pot with my little paint stick and then I would put it down. So it's very green, like fluo green. There's no doubt about it. Here we go. I can't even do it. Okay. So far so good. I mean, I'd seen this bit before. It definitely changed color. No doubt about that. It's definitely some sort of, oh god. Ooh. And now I have to rinse this for like ever until everything runs clear. I think we're actually gonna get a better picture of this yarn when it's dry, because I'm not sure right now, but we'll find out. It looks almost like Shrek-like as a color. Just me? Okay, that's probably as clear as the water is gonna get. And we have almost green. It's something. It's still very yellow, which is to be expected because it was yellow originally and I didn't over dye with a blue, so it wasn't ever gonna give like the green that I was maybe looking for, but nonetheless I'm still pretty happy with it. It's definitely more work, like it's something I would probably knit with So I feel like that's a good start. It's also not a color I've ever gotten before, so that makes me kind of happy and excited. I will have to pair this with something else to make like a sweater or whatever, but I have some ideas already of what I'm gonna do. This might be a hint. I hope this encourages you to like try new things with your like natural dyeing. It doesn't have to be scary. There's also stuff that are like, if you buy natural dyes, which, not to plug Maiwa once again, but like there are definitely easier dyes to start with that'll give you like a more like a guaranteed result, so that's good to know as well. But I think it's also fun to kind of mess around and see what comes out. I've gotten a lot of colors from marigolds. You can get a lot of colors. You can get into like color modifiers, which is actually what I did for this pink here. Like the contrast color on this cardigan is dyed with cochineal, and then I kind of like color modified it with iron, which is like rusty nails solution that you can make. It's fun. I've had a lot of fun experimenting with it. I clearly still have a lot to learn, but hey, there you go. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon, maybe.